Welcome, residents. This is our week of last week of March, April, beginning of April. We're here now at April 1st. So welcome to the month of April, and hopefully much nicer weather in the weeks ahead. Today, I'm going to talk about a couple of topics. I want to spend some time talking about our new conservation pricing program. I'll briefly remind everyone about the 5K run walk. This is tax assessment valuation season, talk about that, and of course the fourth wave of the COVID pandemic is very much on people's minds. But today, one of the most important things that we've been doing, and the key element of my and the town board's initiatives has been looking after conservation, protection of the environment. And you'll recall that a couple years ago we started to look into what we call conservation pricing for our water services. And this during the past year, we've actually put a new pricing structure into place that's being implemented in this billing cycle. And this is not an April Fool's joke. This is a very real situation where your water prices are being reduced for your bills based on actual consumption. As you know, I placed a key focus on environmental protection since I first took office. And water conservation is an important element of that priority, because fresh, clean water is a limited resource in our community and many others. And in fact, our community, the town of Wappinger, is a waterfront community surrounded on three sides by the waters of the Sprout Creek, Wappinger Creek, and the Hudson River, which we're constantly working on enhancing the quality of, along with our neighboring communities. As everyone knows, although you may debate the reasons, our climate is subject to constant change. We are seeing changes, and especially as to our water availability. During our summers, we tend to see droughts, some for longer periods, others shorter. But those droughts do affect our water tables because we draw off of the water strata underneath the lakes and streams and rivers in our area. But primarily along the Sprout Creek and Wappinger Creek. Because we have been concerned about our water capacity during dry periods, I and our town board have expanded our water production from what was primarily the 5 wells at Atlas. That Atlas well field is sitting along the Wappinger Creek, which is just west of the airport. In our community, near our community, what we call Quiet Acres. As you know from the public meetings, from our regular board meetings, we have expanded the active well fields to 2 others. One's the Meadowwood fields, and we've put in new filtration systems, expanded the wells that are in production, and now we've just been completing the Hilltop well field situation. We are continuing to look and discuss with neighboring communities and especially the county on how we can continue to improve that capability. But what's important is that we've, on the highest point in the summer, we've generally used around 2 million gallons on one period of time. And in dry spells, that's put a real strain on the Atlas wells, for which we also had some obligations to New York City. That's all changing, and therefore the board and I have made some really positive efforts to mitigate our risks of water shortages. Our new water conservation pricing structure encourages the efficient use and also discourages the discharge of wasted water. We don't want to waste our water supplies. Water conservation, not only offers a myriad of unique benefits, for the environment, but it also translates directly into financial savings, and it further helps to avoid, financial hardship for our residents who are on a limited income. This has been a real concern of ours. And as I've talked, throughout the years with the various residents, we made this top priority, particularly for our seniors. Your cost for water services will depend on how much water you actually use. We are seeing that water conservation builds a safe and actually beautiful community, and is essential to really our life. As you know, the firefighters and businesses such as medical facilities, our schools and restaurants in the town all require large amounts of water. And during periods of dryness or other water shortages, we don't want to have to put restrictions even on them. So it allows effectively, under conservation pricing, water services to really effectively continue uninterrupted, and including with our new well fields, very much uninterrupted. Members of the central water and sewer districts will be receiving in their bills from me announcing a letter, that's announcing the new rates. This is what you'll be seeing on your bill. This is going to be on the back of your water bill. So it's a letter that I have announcing the new water pricing structure. So not only did we want to place conservation as a top priority, but as I discuss even in this letter, during this time of hardship where many people's incomes are really stretched, reduced dramatically, the town board and I have made a concerted effort, unanimous approach to reducing the cost wherever we can on our town residents. And therefore, this particular price reduction will result in a price reduction. The new table, you're going to see these water savings for many, many people to be directly reflected in your new bills and future bills going forward. Not only have we changed the pricing formula to reflect your efforts to conserve water, we've also reduced significantly the minimum requirement, which was 2,500 cubic feet previously, and the new bills now readjust it down to 1,000 cubic feet. So what does that mean? It means that many of our residents, especially our seniors and those families that don't have children at home, or are single, in the case of individuals, people that don't have the daily water consumption to even come close to 2,500 cubic feet, we are now reducing that number so that your threshold for water conservation will be the 1,000 number, and that, based on our studies, will address many, many residents in our town. And then the formula going up is going to be based on your additional consumption above that. So if you decide to irrigate your lawn, or you decide to fill your swimming pool and you're on town water, you'll see an increase in those charges. Hopefully it would also encourage you to reduce the amount of irrigation of your lawns through sprinkler systems to what is basically necessary to keep some greenness in your yards. So I think you will see a meaningful reduction in water rates. And as you also have heard from me and other discussions that the town board and I have had, we are working very proactively to expand water and sewer services throughout the town that aren't already on water, town water or sewer. We're working closely with neighboring municipalities and the county, state, and federal agencies on how to do that. We're expecting the ability to be able to improve the miles that we have for water and sewer pipeline as a result of increased grant monies, the new federal monies that are the COVID, as well as the what is being proposed as a $2 trillion infrastructure project that should directly benefit the town of Wappinger going forward. So if you have any questions though on conservation pricing, of course you can call me, you can call any of your councilmen or women. Leanne Freno, who runs our tax collection department, also responsible for water and sewer, has done a great job of helping us put together the new conservation pricing structure. She gets a lot of credit for that, along with her staff. Regina is directly responsible, for the water billing. So kudos, to them. Other items I want to discuss today, I just want to remind you, on April 17th, we will be holding our Joe Ennisser Memorial Walk Run event. That's out at the rail trail. You'll recall registration can be done online or at 7 o'clock in the morning. And the further details are out there on our town website, social media. You'll see a lot of brochures. I want to thank, and we'll mention more in the future, our various sponsors. We've had a tremendous support, from the community for this event that not only brings some live activity, to the town, but is in memory of a very great resident contributor, volunteer in Joe Ennisser. As a reminder, now is the tax assessment, the valuations on properties now through May. In May, we'll have further news that the tax assessor will also have a day that you can come in and register any concerns you have on the new assessments. So we've, I think our towns, the local towns are all working with the tax assessor to try to encourage them to keep the assessments as conservative as possible, so as not to put a tremendous burden on people that may not be able to afford a huge increase in assessments. We're hopeful that that conservative approach will be followed. Further reminder, we do have a number of open positions for our Board of Assessment Review. That's the one relating to the tax valuations, Planning Board, Zoning Board, and also we have our Community Affairs Committee and our Senior Affairs Advisory Committee that I hope will get finalized in the next board meeting. So please, send in any of interest for participating in those committees. Last but by no means least, as you've seen in our last board meeting, we decided to continue to keep visitations here in Town Hall by appointment only. We do have very good output, if by residents coming in or registering ahead of times, but we are now in what we were fearful of, seeing a fourth wave of the COVID pandemic. We are seeing in the town that the earlier plateau of numbers of between 90 and 100 has now gone up to somewhere between 115 and 120 at any one time. Currently, I believe the town has 115 active cases. The village has 28 active cases. As you've been hearing on TV from various folks, April is a very critical month. Hospitalizations generally are up around the country, including in the state, 20 to 30%. And what we're seeing are the age groups that are being most heavily affected are the age categories of 20 to 29 years and 40 to 49 years. I think we're seeing where our seniors have been vaccinated. I've received my second shot, and our nursing homes and others that were most dramatically affected are in much better shape than previously. So it's the younger folks that we're really concerned about. Currently, only 16 0.5% of the population has received 2 doses of the various brands, and we expect that to improve during the coming weeks and through the month of May, when the greatest input for vaccination will be found. So please, continue though to wear your masks, to wash, to remain socially distant where you can, and maintain basic, etiquette, for your fellow neighbors. And last, but by no means least, I hope that our residents that celebrate, Passover and Easter have a wonderful holiday, season. And until I get the chance to meet you, every one of you, personally, please stay safe and remain well. Thank you, and have a wonderful weekend.